evening. We're going to call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. Mr. Steckel?
Yes. At this time, would you please rise? Tatiana Jimenez is going to start us with the pledge, and I would ask that you remain standing in order for Scott Sweeney to play a patriotic song, and he will take care of America the Beautiful. At this time, we will have Tatiana start us with the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. So, we have all right, number 2, we're going to go to the presentation and updates. Mr. Ryan.
Good evening, everyone, and I'd like to use this opportunity to share with members of the board, members of the public who are present, some updated information regarding our budget. Mr. Simonetta and I have constructed what I believe to be a summation of our particular point in the budgetary process. I'd like to remind everyone that the board is facing a deadline, if you will, in the very near future. I do believe that at its May meeting there will be a decision made about our budget. And so that leaves us approximately 5 weeks or so left to make some important decisions. What we're going to do tonight is present 4 scenarios for the board and the public to look at. We're looking to the board for some direction. The only scenario that we would recommend is the first one. However, if scenario 1 can't be realized, then we must look at the other 3.
I'm very sorry. Before they leave, Mr. Reinhardt,
Yes.
I just want to acknowledge and thank the East Area High School Jazz Chorale for performing today before our meeting. I apologize. I don't want them to leave without hearing that. Sure.
As I mentioned, if our first scenario can't be realized, then we would have to opt for scenario 4. Mr. Simonetta is going to outline the financial implications of each of these scenarios very briefly. And I then discuss scenario 4 a bit more in depth as to how it's going to impact on our instructional program. Mr. Simonetta.
Thank you. As Mr. Reinhardt said, scenario 1 certainly is the optimum scenario, but it will include agreements between the district and the association. But in the proposal that has been developed, we are in a position, if there was an agreement where we will only lose staff over the next 3 years through attrition. Now, with that said, that plan also includes the board's desire, the consensus of the board's desire to tax the index and to use fund balance at $750,000 per year. And that total loss of staff would be 29. Again, that would be through attrition.
I just want to make sure that they were all clear here. Looking at this, no furloughs in the first year, just drop that to attrition.
The proposal actually is looking at no furloughs, with the exception of attrition, for all 3 years. Again, I'm going to collect the point that includes, by the way, that guarantee or that promise is assuming no significant loss in revenue. In scenario 2, now, see the big number up there, 4% tax increase. The reason why that scenario was up there is because the board did approve to go for exceptions, given certain circumstances. We did get word back from the state. Our initial calculations indicated that we would be available to go up to almost $1.8 million in the exceptions. The state approved $1 million more. Calculations that they came up with reduced what we were hoping to get. My understanding is that they're reducing district's calculations throughout the state and not getting what they wanted for. So with that, that would, if you recall that, the board approved it at the time, the estimate was 4.9%. So what that did was, if we go for exceptions, the board can go up to 4%. So that's why that number is in. So under scenario 2, which is a 4% tax increase first year, 2.7 the remaining 2, we would still be, now this is without me doing without any protection, we would still be looking at a total, in order to balance the budget for 3 years, of 100 staff reduction. Scenario 3.
Mike, before you go on, I have a question for you. On scenario 2, in years 15 and 16, where you indicated cuts of 54, 20 of those would again be through attrition?
Yes,
Okay, and that will carry that into scenario 3?
correct. In scenario 3, 2.7% tax increase, that was the initial discussion back in November, December, about the board going to index. Again, with no agreements or concessions, that would result in a total number of 76 staff cuts. 2.7 tax increase and $750 per year from fund balance. And then we get to scenario 4. And, we're looking at doing the plan out 3 years. The discussion of revisiting this every year, or cuts every year. So scenario 4 is going to index each year, but taking all of the cuts in the first year. Financially, that gives us our best option as far as the use of fund balance money. You see that number is $1 million. If we go this route, we would not need any money from fund balance for the 14-15 school year. We would need approximately $250 from fund balance for the next year and $750 for the third year to balance the budget.
Mike, again, as you look at that, you put down that there's only 14 for attrition for 14-15. Would that be 29 then?
It would be the 14 and the 20, that 14 net in this plan,
Yeah.
would include support staff. That wasn't included. Those other ones were professional staff. The 9 and the 20. And the other scenario. And this year, we would include support staff.
So that's, okay, so the one says 14, so would that number be higher?
Well, the 72, not through attrition, no, because the attrition would be made up through the 72. In the first year.
Okay, the attrition in addition to?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So in summary, if you look at the 4 scenarios, and those tax increases that are there, that's accumulation of all 3 years. This whole page is 3 years total. Scenario 1, which is the best scenario, total comes at 29.
That's
Through attrition, yes. Thank you. Scenario 2, 100 staff members. Again, that also calls for a 4% increase for the first year of the tax. Scenario 3, 76. And then scenario 4, 72.6. And that's a combination of attrition and support.
Mike, can you go back over those numbers then for attrition? So in the first year, it's 29. How many are attrition in the second year?
In the first year, it's 9, and then 20 in the second year.
Okay. In Plan 1, let's do Plan 1.
Okay.
So Plan 1 on the summary page, the 29 cuts are all attrition.
Right, that's 2 years.
Okay. In Plan 2, is it 100 plus attrition?
Now, that would be inclusive of attrition.
So it's 29 is included.
Correct.
Okay. In Plan 3, because you still have the same 20, right? Attrition that's not listed on there plus 9. So would that be 29 again that's included?
I believe it would. I believe that would.
So the 29 is included in the 76.
Yes.
Okay, so then when you get to,
And I'm going to have to go through my notes while Mr. Reinhardt is going. Let me just check that before I confirm it.
okay, because scenario 4 is going to be the same issue then.
Right.
You want me to,
Yeah, if you want to.
And then, when you look at the tax rates, it's 8.1, 9.4, 8.1, and 8.1 as a sum for each of the years.
All 3 years.
All 3 years.
Total of 3
3
years.
years, right. I'm talking each plan though. They
Yes.
look at Plan 1, 9.4 Plan 2, 8.1 Plan 3, and 8.1 in Plan 4.
Yes.
And that's for the sum of all
Some
3
of all
years.
3 years.
Okay, if I could draw your attention to the next illustration, I want to show you what Plan 4 is going to look like. And this is for the purpose of understanding that if we cannot realize our first scenario, which is the one that we believe is in the best interest of all of us, this is the projected staff cuts that will occur. You take a look at the high school, you'll see that there will be a loss of 13 positions. The middle school, 7-8, 7 positions. In the middle school, 5-6, there'll be 9 positions eliminated. K-4, there'll be 22.6 positions eliminated total. District-wide, that would include our special education department. We would lose 8 teachers there and 4 ESL teachers. We would eliminate the academy altogether. The Eastern Area Academy is housed in a building across from the district's office. That population, the enrollment at the academy is housed there. It's a specialized public charter, if you will, and alternative education program. and our plan would require us to deliver the services in a different model. We would end up with 4 classes housed at the high school and 3 classes housed at the middle school. So what you see is a total of 72.6 employees would be furloughed under this particular scenario. I will tell you that this is a plan that is not being recommended, if you will, but it's a plan that accomplishes 2 things. Number one, it allows us an opportunity to redeploy staff throughout the school district in an attempt to compensate for the losses. Number 2, the goal is to try to balance our spending so that this district reaches a point where we're making decisions based on the needs of our students and not on the size of the debt. And I think for all of us, those goals have to be first and foremost. I would like to also ask all of you to consider a couple things in addition. By the way, we'll have copies of this for you if you're interested. Talks with the EAA are occurring at this time, and the administration believes the board and the community, however, needs to know, because we've only got a few weeks left. Both groups need to know, and our employees need to know what the cutting and spending will look like and how that's going to impact on our academic program. We are still very hopeful that we'll be able to agree on non-instructional ways to cut spending. We're going to have difficulty in projecting K and 1 class sizes, and that's something that happens every year because we're not always in a position to be able to account for all the students who are out there who are currently enrolled in private kindergartens and who are currently waiting for the last bell to ring before the doors open. So class sizes for K and 1 are going to be very difficult for us to project. With this plan, it is expected that we're not going to be able to give anyone specific numbers in terms of class sizes. Those class sizes will range from mid-20s to mid-30s, maybe higher. That depends on the size of the building, the number of classes per grade, and obviously the enrollment in those schools, each of our schools, rather. I think it's fair to say class sizes could reach the mid-30 level at our middle school and our high school, however. There has been, over the course of the hearings that the coalition has been holding, there's been some concerns expressed by parents of students receiving special services as to whether or not we're going to be able to deliver those services, and I want to emphatically underscore the fact that we will change the way those services are delivered, but the services and the supports will not be impacted. Students with IEPs, students with special needs, 504 plans, and so forth will be delivered the services we've agreed to. We anticipate at this time about 15 retirements, some of which will not be replaced. That includes a principal, 9 teachers, and a number of our support staff. The cuts that you see and you're hearing about will not impact on extracurricular programs or instrumental music programs. The academy, as I mentioned, is going to be restructured. And to be very honest with you, if this doesn't do it, we're going to change the high school schedule. which you know was recently changed to a block schedule. We may have to look at returning to either a 660 schedule, 6 periods of 60 minutes, or to a more traditional schedule with the possibility of 7 or 8 periods a day. The factors there include how many staff members those changes would yield, and whether or not we'll be able to deliver the necessary and required support for students at the high school, given its status as a focused school. The other thing I will mention is that if we go along with scenario 4, the board will be seeing a motion that's going to alter graduation requirements. I believe in recent history the board moved to require 4 maths and 4 sciences. The board is going to have to rethink that given these staff cuts, and we'll probably have to move to a 3 math and 3 science requirement for graduation. Again, I say to you, one of the frustrations we experience all here and all over the state is the lack of predictability in terms of income. We do not know what we're facing with state revenues and assistance, so we have to proceed that like this. There's no changes whatsoever to the current circumstances, because we don't have any other reason to not think that things are going to change. And I don't know if there are any questions from any board members.
Are you going to be looking at all various credits at the high school, design, science, and math, to make sure that they're balanced in some way?
We may end up having to do that. I can tell you that up front, those are the 2 right away that we're going to have to look at. But yes, the answer is yes to that.
I was going to say, because I know there's a lot of discussion sometimes when there's that, there was someone
Yes.
looking at, there was talk at one time about that music credits were worth more than science and math, and history even. So, you know, I think, I'm not sure where some of the other ones fall in that you may want to look at.
Right. One option, once again, depending upon how deeper we have to go with the cuts, would be to, we are able to give credit to students who are involved in athletics, and that may be an option that we want to pursue, which might yield more staff members.
Is there any other questions?
On back to the mic.
Yeah, all that, those numbers, the attrition number 9 is known for the first year because of the retirements that we know about. In scenario 1, the 20 for attrition, we're assuming that number based on the proposal, and if it's agreed upon with the scenario that's out there, or has been presented, with the retirement incentive as part of that proposal, we're assuming 20 more for attrition, 20 more retirements.
So that's why,
That's an assumption.
that's why it's basically 0 in staff reduction for number 1.
Yes.
And number 2,
Number 2, denied through attrition, and again, no retirements for next year. The other numbers do not include attrition, they're just numbers needed to get to the balanced budget.
and are all of those professional staff, or are they other? Because if you look down, if you look at option number 4, under option number 4, you have 72.6, but there's,
That's 66.6 professional staff.
under option number 2.
More.
Right, exactly the point. So how does that trickle down to option number 2? What's the professional staff under option number 2?
I think those inclusions. Professional staff in number 2 is the 100 staff. just based on the number. How that turns out after that, that's just again an assumption or projection, money we need to get from our budget.
And, well, it's 100 minus 9, right, so it's minus 1. And then under option 3, it's 76 minus 9. So again, that's strictly for bonus tax.
Yes.
And option number 4 is 66.
Yes.
If I could just also interject, I think it's very important for us to know that, once again, the predictability of things is such that we believe that in this scenario that we presented tonight, that we will end up with a very small and controllable. If we haven't eliminated the debt, we'll have it to the point where it's controllable and it can be addressed without bleeding the system. That's based on information and instinct as to how things have gone in the past. Quite frankly, if we have a loss of income, even by the going through this plan number 4 scenario, if we have any loss of income in this district, even that's going to obviously blow the debt up, and we're not going to be where we want it to be and where we project it to be with these staff cuts. But we are basing these assumptions on what, as I said, our instincts, on our experience, and on the current levels of funding. There are so many other factors that influence enrollment, growth, the growth of enrollment, declining enrollment, the state support of our schools, the local economy, and whether it's robust enough to maintain supporting our schools. All those are very big factors in all of this. But by our best account, this is what we're looking at. And we believe that has to be a goal that we have to achieve.
Any other board members have questions regarding Mr. Reinhardt, Mr. Sheffield?
Just one more for clarification, Mr. Reinhardt. You put out a memo back in January listing a 5-year plan.
Yes.
We would look at it, just don't look at the long term.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Yes, there were certain aspects of that 5-year plan that are very important. We continue to look at selling the house, if you will, administration office. That is still in the plan. That will not yield a lot of revenue. It's a one-time bump. I mean, the building is paid for, the property is paid for, so we'll get some money back. But again, that's just a one-time bump. We talked about the academy, and certainly if we're going to vacate it, there is no reason for us to hang on to it. We're hoping that it's marketable. We can sell the academy building. We also have the Pennsylvania Economy League, who is busy working on enrollment projections. They've been attending meetings with all of the local, our member municipalities to get an idea of what projects are on the board in the future. If there are any developments that are proposed, and they're also looking at utilization of classrooms, so that perhaps next year, the year after, certainly not this year, their recommendations will provide us with an opportunity to save some money. Once again, it's hard to predict at this point just how that's going to impact on us in the future, other than I think it's safe to say that when they come back with a report, they'll demonstrate how we might be able to reduce spending and level the difference between spending and revenues, and that's what we have to try to do.
Any other questions regarding this plan? Thank you, Mr. Fanning.
Frank, before you go on, can you give us an update on where the negotiations
saw tonight on option one is what the administration and the board felt, what the negotiation team felt was the best proposal for the district. As you heard already, in proposal one, there will be guaranteed no furlough for year one. And as long as there's no decrease in funding, there would be no furloughs in year 2 and 3. We would balance the budget right at zero all 3 years without any staff reduction. So that proposal is out there, and we're just waiting on the union response. Any other questions? Seeing none, we're going to move on to the superintendent's report.
Well, on the brighter side, I would like to take this opportunity to offer my personal thanks. I don't believe we've met since we had the fire here at the high school. But I want to recognize the responders who were here and assure people in attendance and who are listening in that it was very reassuring to see the response from our local emergency personnel, from those closest to the district, to the high school, I should say, and to those surrounding the high school. They were all available. They were here. They worked magically together. I also want to thank our staff members inside the building and outside the building who pitched in a very difficult set of circumstances and once again, I think reassured our student body and reassured all of us who were there witnessing this that their instincts as professionals and as people who have been trained in so many ways, their instincts ran true. They did a remarkable job, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart. There were no injuries that day. There could have been, just based on the fact when you consider, as Mr. Cook reminds me often, that in this building there's a small city every day, a small town, if you will. 2,600 students plus all of the adults brings that number up to about 3,000 people on site. And for us to be able to evacuate this place, for us to be able to hold students and safely and be accountable is a remarkable testimony to the quality of the staff that's here, and needless to say, a remarkable testimony to the quality of the students who attend the building. I was absolutely so impressed when I walked into the auditorium. I didn't get into the gym, but I did get into the auditorium. And I was taken back because at that particular time, the students had been in there for about 35 minutes. One of the teachers came up to me and said, Mr. Ryder, you got to know that they're getting a little loud, but up until this particular point, we couldn't have asked anything more of them. And so, once again, we all too often don't acknowledge the most important people we serve in our students, and they were absolutely wonderful, and we are so fortunate that turned out the way it did. I want to thank the members of the science department here at the high school. Their science fair was a big success and a great start for something that I hope will be an annual event. I want to congratulate the foundation. Their inaugural activity was held on Saturday night. They honored 3 alumni from Easton High School, and I would just offer this to the general public that those alumni included Jane Moyer, who remarkably at her age and at a point in life when most of us, would be taking it easy, is finishing her 80th year, I think, as a volunteer at the County Historical Society. She's a class of 1930. And she was present to receive accolades for her service to this community. And Thomas Tuft, who was a graduate of Easton High School in the class of 65, who happens to be the chairman of Global Capital Markets Advisory and vice chairman of the investment banking firm of Lazard, Frères and Company. In 2009, he was chairman of Global Equity Markets and Goldman Sachs. The man is tremendously successful and influential in the world of international economics. And last but not least, Naomi Kurowitz from the class of 1984, who was an Emmy Award-winning journalist with WNBC News. This high school has produced remarkably successful individuals, those three representing lives of great distinction. So it was a grand affair, and I believe that the foundation is off to a fabulous start. And I thank the board for your support of this organization. Thank you.
Board number 5, reports. Mr. Rogers.
Yes, it's still the process of budget and contract negotiations.
Thank you. East Canary Public Library, the only issue I have is the library has agreed to move their meetings later on in the day as opposed to 3 p.m. We will be appointing somebody at the end of this meeting. CIT?
Right now, we are in the process of interviewing for our business manager position. We've got a total of 4 candidates at this point that we will be interviewing very soon. Looking to get that position filled very soon. Making a lot of progress on our current house project. And please forgive me, I cannot remember the address at this moment, but you can call the CIT to give the address and take a look at the progress that the students are making. It's just a phenomenal project to see the kids put these things together. Pretty much it.
Just one more thing on CIT. They gave us a counseling agreement. I think one of the things that they're trying, and they always look at CIT is recruit, how to get more kids involved with those programs out there, because some of those programs are outstanding. Not everybody who can go to college and use that as a springboard for trade and technical. In some college programs, Penn Tech knows there are some excellent opportunities there. And as previous guidance counselor, we probably recruited well, but probably also needs to be evaluated and reevaluated so that we can get more kids involved in those programs. So we did touch upon the recruiting aspect, and we'll continue to do so.
Community government, Mr. Frank.
We had a very brief meeting. We ended up, our work sessions are a long part of the meeting. We ended up appointing, or giving what would be the equivalent of tenure in a school district to 4 different individuals. We had various maintenance and construction projects that were approved. And we heard about many things. Leadership team evaluated the program that we had acquired. And but going past that, there's something I had a very great opportunity to do. And a few weeks ago, Angela Diaz, who was a student here at the high school, graduated a couple years ago and attending Northampton. She was part of a group that went along out to Harrisburg to persuade legislators on why they should be giving money to education. And it was real interesting listening because as we were there, it was the students making the presentations as to board and administrators and everything else. And it was very nice and a great pleasure to see a student from Easton really take a lead and stand up, not be afraid to speak. And I will tell you that we did see some other students in legislative offices that took a more laid-back attitude, or they were set back because of the atmosphere they were in, and she did not. So it was a great honor to see that. Additionally, this past week and a half, the community college also received a national award again on its use of technology and implementation of technology over the last year. They received an award for 4th place in that area. Again, a national award. And that concludes my report.
The foundation for Eastern School, Mr. Rayburn.
As Mr. Harshman stated, Mr. Reinhardt, a wonderful program this past weekend, everything coming up roses. It was a phenomenal event. If you give me just a second, I will pull up some looking at our net income to be equivalent to the foundation, we brought in about $12,500 for the first event. Well, there are numbers, subject to change, but that's phenomenal. That this event is able to put something in the coffers that will benefit our district so much in the very, very, very near future. So we're obviously very proud and excited about the movement of these.
Thank you, Mr. Burton. Stay with you for the Shrink Family Foundation.
No report as of right now. We are meeting again on, don't forget the date, on the 22nd. We're meeting on the 22nd to continue our talks.
Legislative, Ms. Olson.
Currently, legislation is for the House and the Senate to create an equitable and fair formula for special education. We are discussing that at this point, and primarily this is enacting recommendations that the Special Ed Commission has put forth for the legislation. And also, ESDA would like to hear from anyone with thoughts regarding current legislation that is possibly going to be put before the legislature for expansion of executive sessions and requirement of recording of all executive sessions. This can be kept for an entire year. So if anyone's interested in making comments to the SBA regarding their thoughts, they would appreciate that.
Thank you. Letter H, I don't see Mr. Cup, so I'm going to introduce our student president, correct?
Yes.
Kaylee Rutherford.
Good evening. Currently in the high school, this past Friday, we just had our blood drive. It was hosted by the American Red Cross. At the time, we're unsure how many units we collected, but it was very successful, and we had a good turnout. Student council is in the process of planning out our Mr. Easton, who designed the whole event on Saturday, May 10th. As for the senior class, they are putting the final touches on prom, and the underclassmen are planning out in the year fundraisers. We also are all excited to volunteer at the Special Olympics in May. That's about all for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Letter I, PTA, Dr. Gilligan.
Our elementary schools are working on spring fundraisers. Casey Elementary School has just done a Gertrude Hawk fundraiser, so it's very successful, and will cover the cost of spring field trips for all Casey students. They have an amazing outpouring of support from the elementary school community, and for many years to come. This month features their last family fun night of the school year with a focus on healthy cooking and eating healthy as well as Zumba and the gym. Students are preparing veggie pizza and fruit smoothies for their families. The seeds have been planted in their garden beds, and they are hoping for a plentiful crop in the spring and the fall months. Hopefully, it's going to be Thank you to the Fallon Foundation for helping them out with the garden program. In celebration of Earth Day on April 22nd, Tracy is holding a sneaker and shoe drive. The items benefit an organization called Share Your Soul, which collects and reuses footwear around the world. March has a buy one, get one book sale going on right now during parent conferences. They had a very successful first school dance with 182 children showing up, and they made over $900. They too are looking forward to teacher appreciation coming up. They're always spending a lot of time and hard work on that. They have second grade going on a field trip in May 8th to the Da Vinci Center. Cheston is working on a buy one, get one book fair coming up in May. Also on spring sports teacher appreciation. And council is having its last council PTA meeting on Wednesday at 7 in Palmer Elementary. Thank you.
Thank you. Letter J, EADA President, Ms. Carter.
Good evening. Teachers are in the middle of the spring season, and well, traditionally it probably would be a little nicer out than it is tonight. We're in the middle of our testing cycle. The elementary students have worked their way through the reading and math test and have a science test left to take. And high school students are beginning their keystone exams shortly, and then we can be reading for some fun. Something really exciting about standardized testing that has come out, and I don't usually use exciting and standardized testing in the same sentence. Senate Bill 1244 has been the elimination of additional keystone exams in Pennsylvania. And on March 14th, the acting Secretary of Education sent a letter stating that at this point, they are looking at, let me use her terms, the Commonwealth's focus should instead be on assuring success on the existing 3 keystone exams. So it's kind of nice to know that we can get good at with those 3 exams before we add on additional exams in other areas. So there's really not ever any good news about standardized testing, and I was excited to see that. School year's quickly coming to a close, and we're excited for what all that brings. I was also excited to walk in tonight and see the 100+ students that are being adopted to the National Honor Society. So, exciting night for them too. I'm very happy with standardized testing.
Thank you. Bus drivers, Ms. Allen.
I just want to say 2 things that bus drivers are going to be involved in. One is April 27th, and that's the March of Dimes Walk. We have a few drivers that are participating, and if you would like to donate, you can always be in touch with me, and I will get them to you. And also on May 10th, we're going to be helping along with the Teamsters 773 with the food drive. It's called Stand Out Hunger. Those skilled workers go around and pick up the food. They bring it to a location, and we pack it up and ship it out. And quite a few of the bus drivers will be there to pack up and ship it out. Thank you.
Thank you. And number 7. Public to be heard on agenda item only. Anderson.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The budget is an agenda item. And unfortunately, we came down the road forever arranging chairs in the Titanic because nobody's paying attention to your revenue rates. Pennsylvania, we're worse off than the city of Philadelphia. Over half the city of Easton is now under the control of landlords, residential. And because of complex issues in federal and state tax code, they're not putting in their fair share relative to the burden. Until somebody addresses that and is changing the chairs as to who's on the Titanic, I don't know the answer. I know the problem. And seriously, if you look at school districts that are in trouble, you will see that one commonality. Mr. Seminetta, I saw some good news. You're actually intending to collect from somebody who was shuffling the deck for attendance. Caution you that in Pennsylvania you cannot attach wages. You could in New Jersey. $8,000 you may not get. But I would ask you to be more open and advertise your successes so that you become more of a deterrent to others who are taking advantage of your generosity properly. You nail somebody, let the world go. The deterrent effect is probably more important than the $8,000 you may or may not be collecting. Policy 140. Mr. Superintendent, I think we need more work. I don't know what an application is when it's being applied. Is it a new application or is it just a regurgitation of the old application? I never took English. But the problem is, does it go to the old calendar or the new calendar when it comes back? And it says you may reapply. I'm not an attorney. I would have worded it in the context, you must reapply within 90 days. Otherwise, you're out of line. Why? Because if you don't reapply, then I wouldn't be able to argue with the state that you failed to exercise your administrative alternatives. Because I get the feeling that you're just a warm-up exercise in regards to the statement of understanding. So I'm trying to counter that logic, if possible. Number two, the language as to the employment issues is inconsistent with the state code. Every time it's inconsistent, you lose. When somebody writes at the state level, you may do the following, I get the feeling that it turns out that you must do the following because you don't have it written in there. It says you may allow people to transfer to the charter school. I don't think you want to allow people to transfer to the charter school because you get them back, and that's going to cause problems. It says that you may grant them tenure upon transfer to the charter school. I don't think you want to do that because they're going to come back in with a different seniority. I think you're going to want to make it as tight as you possibly can. Now, the state law says you cannot unreasonably withhold a transfer. I think you ought to define the criteria for reasonable transfer, like 90 days in advance, a few other kind of things. Make it tight. You're dealing with people where they're going to take advantage of you if you don't make it tight. It says that you must have, the charter school must comply with your policies. And if you don't have them in the policy, how do they know what they're missing? So part of their application, I would give them a long list of things to do. If they're not in there, now I've got criteria to turn them down. I don't think you want to allow people to accrue seniority working for somebody else. In the past, you've hired a few judges. Everybody hires a few judges. I've been there. The problem is how to gracefully exit the situation. Very difficult for a school district. This is a mentality that says, absent due process and just cause, you got it. Well, I don't think you want to permit bigger problems with charter schools by allowing somebody to come aboard and lateral over to a charter and then come back 4 or 5 years later and say, here I am, I want my candidate, move me up on the list. I didn't write this gobbledygook. Somebody in Harrisburg here, I'm just suggesting do yourself a favor up front, not after the fact. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Is there anyone else in the public who would like to be heard on agenda item only at this time? Seeing none. Number 8, I have the approval of minutes. So moved. Second. Discussion. All those in favor? Aye. All right. Number 9, executive session report. We'll just do 9. Is that a motion? Second. Discussion. All those in favor? Those opposed? Okay, 10, personnel, all the way through personnel. Can I have a motion?
I'll move on to 10A with regrets and approve all the others.
Second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? I'd like to take number 11, academics and policy 12A and B if there are no objections. Can I have a motion? Can I have a second? Discussion?
I have a question about
11H. You entertaining these?
Yes, definitely. Says that no cost is incurred. So if you read the contract, it says that cost is $400.
This is senior class.
So I just want to verify.
Senior class.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Any other discussion? Any other comment? All those in favor? Opposed? Yep. Number 13, finance. down and including letter D. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Miscellaneous. Letter A, I'd like a motion to appoint Mr. Rob Oldie to the CIT committee to replace Mr. Monahan effective April 15 through December 31st, 2016. Can I have a motion? Second? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Letter B, can I have a motion to appoint Ms. Michelle Price as the school board representative on the Eastern Area Public Library Board effective immediately? Second? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And letter C, can I have a motion to approve the 14-15 school calendar? Second? You got it, John? Who's in second? Dominic. Discussion?
This is just a draft, correct? That's what
No, actually, when the board adopts it, it'll become the calendar. The draft refers to the fact that this is probably the sixth draft of this attempt to build a calendar, trying to insert all the variables. The draft has it for 10, 14.
Any other comment? None. All those in favor? Opposed? You said you got the comment there. All right, number 15. Any public who would like to be heard on a non-agenda item? Yes, Mr. Sweeney.
I think Mr. Henderson is not a little competition.
Hi, my name is Scott Sweeney. In a previous speech, I said that I am not the only student that takes instrument lessons on guitar. And then I gave you that petition, but they could have just signed it carelessly. Recently I asked 5th grade band and orchestra members why they think lessons are important. My friend Brayden said, "What are the reasons I think lessons are important to me is because they are really fun. Learning how to play an instrument with someone helping you and fixing your mistakes is important. Also, like I said, it's fun because you're able to play all kinds of music. But the reason why is because I had people helping me learn how to play the instrument. My friend Brayden plays the violin. My friend Kyle said, my lessons are important to me because I want to play trumpet in high school, and I won't be able to do that with lessons. He plays trumpet. My friend Michael said that I think lessons are important because they help you practice. They help you get better at the instrument that you play. This is why I think lessons are important. He plays the alto saxophone. My friend Tanner said, I think lessons are important because lessons help you get better at playing new notes, new types of notes, and new songs. He also plays alto saxophone. My friend Colin said, lessons are important to me because if we don't have lessons, we won't learn anything. He also plays alto sax. My friend Derek said that it helps us get better in progress. It's hard to have a good band. You can't work with the students individually, and since we wouldn't get better, we wouldn't have a good high school band program. He also plays alto sax. year, it says, it's cool to learn an instrument. Why this is because you can earn money and donate the money you earn. You practice, you can play at hospitals, orphanages, etc. for people. If you don't have lessons, you won't learn the notes you need to play. And then you can go home and practice the notes you learned. It's also very fun. If you don't have lessons, you won't be able to do anything. Here plays the flute. As you can see, many students love and want to continue the lesson. It's not just me who thinks the lessons are important. I wouldn't be able to play American Beautiful without lessons I had. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Sweeney, I just want to bring to your attention, I will be part of tonight. Mr. Reinhardt and Mr. Sinetta showed different options.
Yes.
And although the option we like the best is number one, all four options, none of them cut music or instruments.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I'm glad, thank you for keep coming and keep continuing to speak and playing for us today. But I want to let you know, there's no plan to cut our music or our instruments. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Marissa McFadden. I'm a member of the Eastern Area School District Community Coalition. First, I'd like to thank the board and the administration for being so open and supportive towards our efforts over the past few months. That openness and support allowed us to find our legs and focus our efforts in a way that we felt would be most beneficial to the district. We are on the precipice of something new here, something that because of adversity and hard times has united us in our singular mission to preserve the stellar programs and teachers in this district and work towards coming out of this crisis with more accessible and desirable educational opportunities for all students. For those of you that don't know who and what the Community Coalition is, we are a group of parents and residents, business leaders and stakeholders from various parts of the district. Our group formed out of the momentum gained by a petition that in January called for the district to find alternatives to the proposed cuts by the administration. Out of the collective enthusiasm for finding alternatives and a deep concern felt for the future of the district, our independent and community organized entity was formed. Over the past 2.5 months, the coalition solicited and received ideas on how to raise revenue and cut costs in an effort to help close the current budget gap through a series of 3 community nights hosted in various venues around the district. A district employee night, our website, submission forms, and our group's Facebook page. Compiled in the report that each of you received earlier this evening, we are presenting to you tonight the results of the submissions. The major ones having been researched and annotated to include the coalition's recommendations on implementing each and justification for why these are relevant and feasible options for right now. We selected a few of the most viable and turnkey concepts to investigate in more detail, and a few of those include establishing an affinity card, an easy school district branded rewards credit card where cash earned can either be donated to the district or the foundation, point of sale programs where consumers can donate $1 or more at checkout, EASD retail opportunities including a brick and mortar and online school store. A grant repository where information regarding grants can be housed on a website. Since information regarding grants is so fragmented, the idea is to cull and compile this information for staff and teachers as a key resource. And developing regional partnerships with organizations like the Lehigh Valley Economic Development Corporation and Lehigh Valley Planning Commission to exchange information and resources to foster regional planning and advocacy that would benefit the districts in the Lehigh Valley. As a coalition, we stand behind the value of these ideas and the concept that the community members pulling together for the greater good can actually and did accomplish a great many things. As we look beyond this current budget, we understand the future holds its fair share of challenges for the district. Rising pension obligations and a lack of state funding formula require that our coalition remain proactive rather than reactive in its efforts. And to that end, we are setting to work this summer to do the following things. 1, recruit volunteers heavily, seeking full integration into all of the communities within Easton. 2, communicate more intimately with citizens and community leaders, as opposed to the more broad-scale community events reaching people where they live and work, and understanding and communicating their needs and challenges to the district. 3, continuing to investigate ideas submitted through the community and faculty nights, the website, Facebook page, and email. And 4, expand and develop our website, EASDcoalition.org, to serve as a hub for the community to learn about coalition initiatives, become involved, and educate themselves on education-related policies. Our current work and our future plans are all done with a singular purpose: to preserve the amazing programs and wonderful teachers that have made this district something to be proud of for generations. Our presentation and all of the ideas provided by the community are available tonight on our website, EASDcoalition.org. If anyone has questions, thoughts, or opinions, we would love to hear from you, and we encourage you to email us at EASDcoalition@gmail.com. And finally, I'd like to thank everyone and let everyone know that there are ways for all members of the community to become involved in the Community Coalition, and we hope that all of you will consider joining our efforts. And anyone that would like a copy of the packet that we handed to the board and the administrators can see one at the end of the handout. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Anyone else who would like to be heard? Yes, ma'am.
I'll be pretty quick. I'm actually here to say hello from Paxinosa, from the West Ward. Sometimes you don't hear from us, and doesn't mean there isn't a lot going on, because we have a lot going on over there. And I just wanted to take a minute and just let you know that we have a lot happening. We had a bingo night, we had a dance party, we have a garden that we're putting together. We actually already have the garden, but we're fixing it up. We're working on the pond. We're planting seeds on the 26th, and we've been just doing a lot of really good work over there. One of the things that I wanted to mention about that is that a lot of this wouldn't be possible, obviously, without our teachers. A lot of our teachers stay on their own time for many hours. I believe we had Friday night, we had a bingo night, we had a full house, it was packed, it was busy, it was crazy. We had tables of donated raffle prizes, and teachers that stayed on their own time. They didn't have to do it, and they did it for the kids. And, I just wanted to mention that. I wanted to, give them a little bit of a shout out, because like I said, we sometimes don't hear from Westport and Paxinosa, and there's a lot over there to be proud of. We just wrapped up a fundraiser, like many of the other schools. We did Gertrude Hawk Candy fundraiser, and we have just a lot of things going on. So I just wanted to, let you know, and also to say that we appreciate the fact that you came out a couple weeks ago. I know the turnout was, a little bit light, but we do appreciate when you reach out to us. We appreciate that the coalition reached out to us as parents. We're excited about that, and we're happy when we're included, and when you hear from us and we hear from you. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Did you just sign in?
I did.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much for letting me speak today. My name is Preeti Jain, and I am a guidance counselor at Easton Area Academy. And I just kind of want to turn it this way, so I'm speaking to everybody that's involved, because I really do think that this decision that we have going on is something that takes everybody that's involved. So this comes from my heart, even though it's on a cell phone, but it is really deep inside my heart, so I don't want to take away the moment from someone. All right, so I just want to start out by saying that I am only as effective as the team that stands behind me. So they are my backing. And the team that I have at EAA are some of the most generous and hardworking people work every day because of each other. And looking at some of the cuts and how it's going to impact us as a district, it's really scary to see this family group that we have is going to kind of be in shambles. And above all, I think of our students. I think of how each and every one of them are going to be impacted by these decisions that are going to be made in the next couple of weeks. Above all, my focus and our focus is always our students. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart that I can only speak for myself, but I will do whatever is necessary to help fix this problem or to resolve this problem. Because just like I said before, our students are everything to us. You know, they are a part of our family. We go to work to service them, to help them. And that's why we come to work every day. We don't come for ourselves. We come to work to help our kids. And I worry about what that's going to look like next year. So thank you very much to everyone who's listening.
We do. With the group hang around there for me, I have a few questions that I have to put together for you again. Anyone else, comment? I'm sorry.
I am also. My name is Justin Ziegler. I teach health and PE at the Academy. Thank you, everyone, for giving me the opportunity to speak. The seniors this year came out with T-shirts that were offered to us at the Academy to the effect of, if you're on the inside, you know about it, but if you're on the outside, you'll never understand it. From a teacher who was on the outside, I was furloughed last year, brought back this year. If everything goes through, I'm not looking at it from my point, as Preeti and the rest of our team has said, we're looking at it from the students' impact. I'm looking at it from the students from the Academy. I don't want to lose a single student that attends or could attend the Academy before dropping out of school. I want them to come to us. I want us to stay open. I want us to house them, to give them that chance to graduate. Give them that opportunity to try to be a better person, become a better citizen for the Easton area, to pick up this city. I, along with my team, and I'll speak for myself, I will do whatever it takes to keep the Academy, keep the staff and all buildings in its place. I thank you very much. And I do not want to see a student in general lost to dropping out when they come to the Academy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very briefly, to echo the sentiments of thanks to everyone who is room who's here for students. And my name is Katie Mulrine, and like 8 years in the district, I worked at Cheston at the Academy, and can't speak highly enough of every single professional that I've worked with, everyone who's been on the board, everyone who's been in central government, who is there for the students day in and day out, and that's what it's there for. I just want to also echo in support that I'm willing to do whatever it is necessary for the good of our students. We thank everyone for working together, everyone for your time, for all of your hard work, the students for being as awesome as you are. It inspires us to do what it is that we do. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Maureen Rizza. I'm here as an Easton grad, and more importantly, as a mom of 2 kids that are in elementary school, which clearly that's very strong to my heart. I have one in first grade and one entering kindergarten, and I work in healthcare, so we've been seeing cuts, obviously, and all on the national news. We've had to take cuts ourselves to be able to service our patients. And that's kind of how they feel. I want to make sure that all the teachers are being heard and that they're able to speak their mind, and be heard. I think that's important. So, sorry that my voice is cracky, but I'm fine. I'm good. I'm good, but thank you for letting me speak up.
Thank you. Anyone else in the public who would like to speak on non-agenda items? Seeing none.
If I could just, take a minute. I'd like to ask you, the community coalition to stand up. I think you deserve some credit, for the work that you have done. Please stand up. The people involved in this committee, been to some of the meetings, and they put countless hours into coming up with ways to try to preserve this district. And it's such an unselfish thing that you're doing. I really think that it's so remarkable and it's so commendable that somebody would take that time to put forth that much energy to help us. And you really deserve a lot of credit and appreciation. And I can tell you that we do appreciate the work that you and I always did last night after midnight on the coalition. And that's just the way it works. It's just a very unselfish group. And I really would like to commend you. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 16, any other business from board members before we adjourn?
Ms. Dunbar, I'd like to take just a quick moment to talk about how we're crushing some of those comments that we just heard about. It is very refreshing to see some representation from the school buildings, and I would just like to encourage everybody in the room to do your part in helping us along with this process. We're hearing a lot about our budget talks and our fiscal situations. There is something in this situation for everybody. I just want to include it and give an overall encouragement to this hang in here and the rest of the time.
Thank you, Mr. Edinburgh. Anyone else? Seeing none, can I please have a motion to adjourn? Second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?